The day my life changed forever started, like every other boring Tuesday. I stopped at the small gas station near my apartment after work, mostly to grab a cup of coffee and something sweet to keep myself awake during the drive home. My job at the insurance office wasn't exciting. Every day was the same routine files, phone calls, numbers, and paperwork that never seemed to end. By the time I clocked out, my brain felt drained. While standing near the counter, I noticed the colorful lottery tickets behind the cashier. Normally, I ignored them. I wasn't the kind of person who believed in luck. Life had taught me that good things rarely happened to me. Still, something about that moment felt different. "Give me one of those," I said, pointing casually at a scratch-off ticket. The cashier slid it across the counter with my receipt. I stuffed it in my pocket without thinking much about it and drove home like usual. Later that night, I was sitting on my couch with the TV playing quietly in the background. My apartment was small but peaceful. No shouting, no tension, no feeling like I had to defend every decision I made. That was something I appreciated after growing up in my parents' house. My father believed he was the head of everything: our choices, our money, even our dreams. If anyone in the family succeeded, he treated it like it belonged to him. My mother rarely argued with him. She always believed keeping the peace was more important than fairness. Then there was my younger sister, Emily. Emily was the golden child. Everything she did was praised, even when she made mistakes. If I worked hard, it was expected. If Emily tried something once, she was celebrated like a hero. That's just how things had always been. I grabbed the lottery ticket from my pocket and scratched the silver coating with a coin. One number. Then another. I paused. Something looked strange. I leaned closer to the ticket. My heart started beating faster. "No way," I whispered. I checked the numbers again, then again. My hands started shaking. The numbers on the ticket matched every single winning number. Every single one. I grabbed my phone and searched the results online to double-check. My eyes moved slowly across the screen. The prize amount appeared in bold letters. $3,200,000. For a moment, the room felt completely silent. $3.2 million. I sat there staring at the ticket like it might disappear if I blinked. Then suddenly I started laughing. Not a small laugh, a loud, uncontrollable one. A laugh mixed with disbelief, relief, and shock all at once. A few seconds later, the laughter turned into tears. Because for the first time in my life, I realized something. I was finally free, no more worrying about rent, no more overtime shifts, no more feeling trapped in a life I never chose. But as I sat there holding the ticket, another thought slowly crept into my mind. I knew my family, and if they ever found out about this, things were going to get complicated. Sunday evening arrived faster than I expected. The entire week after my mother called about the family meeting, I had a strange feeling in my stomach. I knew my parents too well. In our house, family meetings never meant anything good. They usually meant someone was about to be blamed, corrected, or pressured into doing something they didn't want to do. As I parked outside my parents' house, the familiar sight brought back old memories, the same white porch, the same front door, the same place where so many uncomfortable conversations had happened over the years. I took a deep breath before knocking. My mother opened the door almost immediately, wearing an unusually cheerful smile. "There you are," she said warmly. "Dinner is almost ready." The smell of roast chicken and mashed potatoes filled the house. It was the same meal she used to cook during holidays when she wanted everything to feel perfect. But tonight didn't feel perfect. It felt planned. When I walked into the dining room, everyone was already seated. My father sat at the head of the table like he always did, his posture straight and serious. My sister Emily sat across from me, scrolling on her phone before looking up with a small, knowing smile. That smile made my stomach tighten. She definitely knew. Dinner started normally enough. We passed plates around, talked about small things, and pretended like this was just another family dinner. My mother asked about my job. Emily talked about a friend's engagement, but underneath the conversation, I could feel the tension building. It was like everyone was waiting for something. We hadn't even reached dessert when my father cleared his throat loudly. The room instantly fell silent. "Well," he said, folding his napkin and placing it beside his plate, "I think it's time we talked about the real reason we're here tonight." There it was. My mother gave me a soft smile that looked rehearsed. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "Emily told us about the lottery." My eyes shifted toward my sister. She shrugged slightly. "Secrets are hard to keep," she said. My father leaned forward, resting his arms on the table like a businessman preparing for a negotiation. "We're very happy for you," he said in a calm voice that didn't feel sincere. "Winning that kind of money is a big responsibility." I nodded slowly, but didn't say anything. Then he reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. "I spent some time thinking about what would be best for the family," he continued. He unfolded the paper and smoothed it out carefully. "It's important that we handle this wisely." Emily leaned closer with excitement. My mother watched quietly. Then my father began reading the list. First, Emily needed help paying off her student loans. Then they wanted to renovate the house. After that, he planned to invest in a business opportunity with his friend Carl. A new car, a family vacation, even a vacation home. The list kept going, and as he spoke, something became painfully clear. Not once, not a single time did anyone ask what I wanted to do with the money. My father continued reading from the list like he was presenting a business proposal. His voice was calm and confident, as if every decision had already been finalized. Emily nodded along enthusiastically, occasionally adding her own ideas. "Oh, and I was thinking maybe something reliable but nice," she said. "You know, like a new SUV." My mother smiled politely and sipped her water. Meanwhile, I sat quietly, watching them. It was almost surreal. They weren't asking for help. They weren't suggesting ideas. They were planning my money as if it already belonged to them. Finally, my father finished reading and folded the paper neatly. "There," he said with satisfaction. "That seems like a fair plan." I leaned back slightly in my chair. "A fair plan," I repeated. "Yes," he replied firmly. "This kind of money should benefit the whole family." The whole family. That phrase had followed me my entire life. Whenever my parents needed help paying bills, it was for the family. Whenever Emily made a mistake and needed support, it was for the family. But when I worked late hours, saved money, or sacrificed my own plans somehow that was just expected, I picked up my glass of water and took a slow sip. None of them noticed that I was strangely calm, because 3 weeks earlier, right after confirming that the winning ticket was real, I had done something very important. Instead of celebrating wildly or telling everyone I knew, I scheduled 2 appointments, one with a lawyer and one with a financial advisor. They had both given me the same warning. When people suddenly come into money, the advisor explained, family pressure can become overwhelming. The lawyer nodded. "You need legal protection before anyone starts making demands." At the time, I hadn't even told my family yet, but deep down, I already knew how they would react, so we created a protected financial trust. Every dollar of the lottery money was placed inside it. The structure was simple but powerful. Only one person had control over the funds, me. No one could access it. No one could claim it, and no one, not even family, could force me to share it. Back at the dinner table, my father looked at me expectantly. "Well," he asked. Emily crossed her arms impatiently. "So when can we start?" she added. I placed my glass down gently. Then I spoke the sentence that changed everything. "That won't be happening." The room froze. My father frowned. "What do you mean?" I kept my voice calm. "The money is already in a protected trust," I said, "legally controlled by me." For a second, no one reacted. Then my father's face slowly turned red. "You did what?" Emily slammed her fork on the table. "You can't do that." I looked at both of them, strangely peaceful. "Actually," I said quietly, "I already did." The room fell silent, the kind of silence that felt heavy and sharp, slicing through the familiarity of the dining room. My father's face turned crimson, veins standing out on his forehead. He looked like a man who had just realized his carefully built plan had collapsed in an instant. "You ungrateful child," he shouted, rising so fast that his chair scraped harshly against the floor. "After everything we've done for you," I stayed seated, calm and measured, letting the weight of my words sink in. 30 years of being told what to do, 30 years of my hard work being taken for granted, 30 years of sacrifice expected and never acknowledged. Emily started crying, a high-pitched, frustrated whimper that made me feel a pang of pity mixed with irritation. She was always the favorite, the golden child, yet here she was, realizing that even she couldn't manipulate me anymore. My mother's face was pale, her hands trembling slightly as she put down her fork. "You're tearing this family apart," she whispered, her voice shaking with fear more than anger. I shook my head slowly. I didn't tear anything apart. I said softly, almost kindly, "You just assumed this money was yours to control. That's the difference." My father's chair scraped again as he leaned forward, his hands balled into fists on the table. "You're selfish," he yelled. "Selfish and ungrateful. You owe us this, and you know it." I looked at him with an unsettling calmness. "If protecting what's mine makes me selfish," I said, "then yes, I am selfish. But I won't let anyone decide for me what I do with my life, or my money." His face twisted with fury, and I could see the old anger and pride battling with disbelief. He grabbed his jacket off the chair and stormed toward the door, slamming it hard behind him. The sound rattled the windows, echoing through the house like a final punctuation mark. I let the silence settle after the storm. Emily continued to sob quietly, while my mother sat frozen, unsure whether to cry or scold. The tension was heavy, but for the first time, I didn't feel the need to react to it. Later that night, my phone filled with messages. Emily's were angry, accusing, desperate. My mother's were guilt-laden, worried, pleading. I didn't reply, not yet. Instead, I sat on my apartment couch, looking out at the city lights shimmering in the distance. For the first time in my life, I felt untethered. The money hadn't changed who I was. It only revealed the truth about those around me. And the truth was simple. They valued the idea of my wealth more than they valued me. For once, I chose myself. I smiled faintly, feeling a strange warmth and satisfaction that no one could take away. The jackpot wasn't the money. The jackpot was finally having the power to decide my own life, and somehow that felt sweeter than anything else.